duct tape podcast network where we tape it all together. It's good to go.
It was either going to be it's either that one or we'll do it live podcast network.
You know what?
Yes.
How many podcast networks are live on radio?
No.
Not a lot.
If anything, I only know of one, and that was it.
Where was that?
It's in Chicago.
So all it is recording podcasts all day and then replaying them later, right?
Well, I mean, like how we have our radio station here. Yeah, if they put them on. How we have our radio station here, they'll record them, and then they're like, okay, later on, will you post them as podcasts? But they don't have it to where it is strictly all podcasts. It is not.
So my
else.
point is, what if we just did that? We said we're the first all podcast radio station in America.
You got to get some more podcasts.
Yep.
We would need, but here's the thing.
Every single show.
We learned from the sports network that once you build it,
Yeah.
they come.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, the podcast would come to us to get on the air, and it would be kind of more of a internet-based podcast stream, and you could do the weather would be a podcast, the traffic would be a podcast, maybe not traffic.
That'd be exciting.
But
let's talk about the Borman today.
Oh, you didn't see my live on the air lesson of the traffic.
In the last 24 hours, we've had 7 police chases, 3 drug busts. Oh, sorry.
Welcome to Northwest Indiana.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are onto something. That live thing you said there, what would differentiate us? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build this studio out there so that she can do her podcast there and they can do all these shows and everybody has, I mean, people come in now are like, what is this? It's like Shruby's basement, right? So
we put some pretty lights over there.
They're going to build a nice professional studio. That's the only thing we need in this 5,600 square foot building. So they're going to come in from 5:30 to about 11, and the building's closed, right? I shut off the water at 11. I turn it back on at 5:45 in the morning, right?
I'm surprised that bathroom is not flooding from being frozen. We had those negative.
They were, but I had drained out all the water. It wasn't anything left. So, but it's so easy now. Why are we here? You could be at home.
I could be.
But you got to go to work. Yeah.
I got a meeting with my boss.
I did that podcast last night with Cow Guy. I had a couple people that we played one of them
I
on
would
the
say,
air.
for those who are listening, the new episode of What Makes a Cow Guy Cry just got posted.
I can't find it on Apple and Spotify.
It's, we were talking about that issue that Apple and
You need to,
Libsyn
he wants to have, I told him about you, and I said, if you and I and Hanson and Adriana just had one phone call to talk about the marketing of his podcast and naming and SEO and stuff. Because I said, when Hanson looks at me and says, I don't like the name, it doesn't fit SEO, it doesn't brand anything, blah, 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 he's usually right. And he goes, well, I kind of like the name. And I'm like, well, it's not what we need. We need a different name. You can change the logo a little bit. We can maybe put something, we need to get a theme and all of that for the SEO and all of that.
Well, that's why I was changing a lot of the titles and all the descriptions when using Riverside, that they give you an option to transcribe that entire podcast. That is actually very useful because anywhere else you have to pay to transcribe your audios. So you use that, you put it in, AI gives you the descriptions and titles that are SEO optimized, so that way they are discoverable. And I've been realizing that it's different between Apple and Spotify. So your SEO is not going to be the same on each platform. It's going to be different on all platforms because every single one has different things that are going to stick. They're different.
So
she's learning.
She's
got the tools at this point, I guess.
If you guys are listening, Hanson is teaching basically the exit course out of undergrad, right? Is that undergrad?
It's our...
do you have any master's people in there?
No.
It's all the undergrad, the senior undergrad. And, explain.
Yeah, so we're taking everything that they've learned along the way in marketing and literally handing it over and saying, okay, build content, build your podcast. What's your theme? Who's your target audience? Who are your competitors? What are the keywords you want to rank for? And we launched our first one yesterday.
Was it yours?
It wasn't hers.
Mine will get posted next week.
So we launched our first one yesterday, and I woke up this morning. She already had 5 downloads, so we're off and running. So,
Well, yeah, I'm going to put mine on with the universities at first, and then after the class is done, I'll transfer over that RSS into ours.
So what is your podcast about?
My podcast is called Between Takes, and it is basically a more personal podcast, and I did not want to use anything I talk about on the radio because, one, I was like, that's kind of cheating. I can talk for like 3 hours at a time, so I don't want to use anything like that. And a lot of it is more so like political and everything happening in the news and all that. This one is more so like personal experiences, stories, and stuff like that. And like, yes, even though I'm only 22, I haven't lived much of a life. There's a lot that can happen within that time frame, and then also just how at least my generation is perceiving life, because we're supposed to have it all figured out by the time we're done with school and graduated, and you're supposed to know exactly what you want to do. We all look at each other like, as long as I get to where I got to get to by the end of the day and I can make it home, that's an achievement in itself.
That's funny. I was dumb until I was 28, so just
Yeah.
put it that way.
I don't remember what movie it is. I know the actors in the movie, but the girl, she's like, I'm 22 and I don't know what I'm doing for the rest of my life, and that is okay. I have to keep telling myself, I'm like, that's fine,
I'm
you're good.
49 and don't know what I'm doing with the rest of my life.
So you have a podcast. Are we recording?
Yes, we are.
Good. This would be a nice little segment then. So how many podcasts are in the class?
We have 10.
You have 10 podcasts.
I'm
So-
doing like 30.
Yeah.
You think I was only going to do 10? No, God.
No. He's asking how many individual podcasts.
Oh,
We have 10.
I thought how many are required.
They have to do 10, but we have 10 student groups working on a podcast.
So there's more than 10 people.
Yeah, we have, I think, 18 in the class.
So you're doing your own?
I am doing my own.
So can we play the people's podcasts in a
what?
special segment like at 8 o'clock? Because basketball's going to end.
Hold on, we got to make sure that
Are
they
they-
are clean for the radio.
Are they I mean,
I have to listen to them all. So, I mean, I can approach each one of them and ask if they'd want to put it on the radio.
Yeah.
so there you go. You see, automatically we're already attracting more content.
Well, it's interesting. We were just talking before we jumped in here. We have the first one that launched was on women's sports. So she wanted to give a spotlight on everything women's sports, and that's been really kind of interesting, the conversation that we've had.
And women's sports is it an athlete that wants? Pull your mic
Yep.
up just a little,
Yeah,
will
it's
you?
an athlete that
There you go.
wanted
I was
to
going to
just
say, he's fine.
do the highlights. Is it working?
You tend to pull it down
Yeah.
as you go down. So
I was going to say, tilt it up. There you
there you
go.
go. That's how it's supposed to be, where you could see it. So she's
I don't like it.
All right, maybe turn them up just slightly, please. So it's a woman who's an athlete, and she's doing it on women's athletics.
Yeah, it's things that are going on, everything from the WNBA to the Olympics, and that we're heading into now. So it's really interesting.
Is there any talk about disparity in amount?
We just launched the first episode, so I have to dive in there and kind of see where she's
Did
going.
you ever see the tables on the disparity of?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, on how many scholarships,
Yeah.
how much
It's
money that goes
ridiculous.
into it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Are we ready to start, or did we already start?
I think you guys have kind of already started, and it's so funny. You can use this content for your class.
Right.
And we were supposed to talk about this, but then we ended up talking about this, and it's still within the marketing realm.
Yeah.
So I want to use the cow guy as kind of a what do we do if we get a big name? He's got a national show now. He's on Fox TV right now as we talk.
Right.
He's got a nice following. We're not leveraging his following. We're not sure what the podcast should be about, right?
I mean, you guys are talking about his personal life. You're talking about his life experiences and how that intertwines with his career and the ups and downs of it, and how your personal and your work life can make or break a person.
he had some amazing tragedy. His daughter died. I think I told you all that. His dad and then his brother all kind of in a clump of time. Very similar to the interview that I did with Nicole Revelliatis, where her 10-year-old son was killed, and then I don't know, just 4 months later, her 27-year-old daughter died. And I don't know why it's so interesting to me is how do people actually make it through that time?
Yeah.
I mean, when you get
It's one of those things where it's like death. It's like boom, 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 and you just like look at the person that it's happened to, and you just kind of look at them. You're like, how do you still smile? Like, how is that possible?
I mean, do you ever listen to the Anderson Cooper podcast?
No,
It's
but I
all
know
on-
what you're talking
It's
about.
all on grief.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think that maybe it should be about how do you, I don't know, I guess kind of have a resurrection of some sort, or how do you remake yourself after major trauma and tragedy?
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, I know how that goes. So,
Would you ever talk about it?
well, I mean, I lost my mom, my dog, and my dad within like 2 years. So it was just a major reset, and it's a new way to look at life because the people that were always there around you are now completely gone. So
Yeah.
when you look at life differently based on like my wife has her parents, and they're my father-in-law turned 80 last year, my mother-in-law is turning 80 this year, and I always say, like, go every moment we have, go spend time with them, because you know what I would pay to have 5 minutes with either one of those three that I just mentioned at this point. And I'm talking about even my dog, right? Like, that's what it is something that changes your perception in life. Like, and the only thing that helped me when I was going through that is I would just look up and go, is that all you got? And it changed me completely because it made me stronger, and it made me like I don't take anything from anyone at this point. Like it just rolls off of me. Like, all right, whatever. Right? You're not going to change the way I see myself, and I'm stronger, and those types of things. So I get where he's going with it.
Well, I just don't know if there is an audience for
There's an audience for everything.
bouncing back. I mean, really,
there's a
that's what you're trying to
huge
do is
audience.
bounce back from
Well, look
tragedy.
remember Tatenda that went with us?
Yeah.
Similar story, bouncing back, right? He was in the
How's he
hospital.
doing?
I haven't talked to him. He graduated, but bouncing back from things that he went through, and he's doing well. So I mean, there's a ton.
He
of
has that's another podcast, but he said he swears decent amount on it. Yeah, it kind of cuts it out.
That was the only thing. I was just like, let's put all the students on there, but then you also gotta remember it's like they're in their own comfortability. The actions that are not for radio airwaves are not going to be much appreciated.
So you would talk about that and how you got through it. You see, that would be, I don't know how to frame that surrounding it around the cow guy, because he's, I told you that Will Glaros, who's up next, and Jim Weezer in the same day within the same hour came to me and said, hey, we don't need you on the podcast anymore. And I'm half thinking you're going to do that at some point. But
I've
know,
done it a few times. You just keep coming back.
I know. I mean, remember that one time you and Adriana had something all planned, and then I walked in and sat down and picked up the headset, and you're both like, what are you doing?
You caught us.
Darn.
Episode 117, Marketing Strategies That Actually Work on Gen Z. In this episode, you'll discover the marketing tactics that truly resonate with Generation Z. We share firsthand insights gained from conversations with 18 to 25-year-olds, revealing how this demographic discovers brands, what content captures their attention, and why many common marketing strategies miss the mark. Learn about the digital marketing platforms that matter most, the type of content that matters most to them, and why authenticity is key. The discussion also covers the response of Generation Z to local advertising strategies versus national branding, highlighting what motivates them to engage with local businesses. For small business owners looking to refine their marketing strategies, this episode challenges common assumptions and offers practical advice on shaping campaigns that connect authentically with young adults. Rethink your approach to marketing and unlock fresh ideas that affect digital marketing and customer acquisitions. All right. So
Ask me how we got here, right?
I was going to say, first of all, Adriana should probably be hosting this one in that she is Gen Z.
That's why she's got
right in the middle
That's
of
why
it.
my mic's on.
That's why your mic's on. So,
All right, but you've had some conversation recently?
So I've had conversations with companies, but I walked into class yesterday, and again, we've talked about how we've got our podcast class, and I walked in with this topic, and I said, let's sit around in a circle, and they looked at me like I'm crazy, and I said, all right, we're going to do a podcast without recording, without anything. We're just going to get you comfortable talking about different topics. So we literally just threw this out there, and I started asking a variety of questions, and our lovely producer was sitting there and waiting for me to, just like, I've heard this before. But, we just walked into it and started asking, what is it that makes or breaks the marketing that is going out to you? So the first thing that we started talking about, what are the platforms, what is the content that really matters? And, you can jump in at any point here, but it was all about entertainment. It was all about video. It was all about quick bits of content. And we talked a lot about how advertising actually gets in the way. So they were kind of leaning towards the organic content, but then we got into a whole bunch of different conversations. And, we started to almost split the room. Some were in one side and some were in some, like, can you share some of that?
When we were, no, I could actually do this. There we go. There we go. So, when we were talking about it, and I was listening to the students, they said that the two main platforms that they use are, there's three. It was Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now, the only thing with YouTube and any other kind of streaming platform, because that's what YouTube has basically become, is this generation's version of Netflix, Hulu, Peacock. Now, of course, they still use all of those. But one of the students said that they pay for premium so they don't have to get those advertisements. And that actually made me think later on in a different class, we were talking about advertising. It's like intro into advertising. And one of the options to spend your hypothetical money in to advertise is through CTV and YouTube. But then that counts as if your audience, one, has those platforms, and two, you're banking on that they have the ad version and not the ad-free version. If you have the ad-free version, your ads are never going to be seen. So you're basically kind of wasting money in that sense. But they were talking about those, and especially with TikTok and Instagram, when they are looking through videos and content that is showing up in there, they swipe past the advertisements. They don't even look at them. And if they do look at them, it's because wherever they clicked on their phone, it took them to the advertisement and they exited straight out of it. And the other thing that the students were talking about was that they spend a lot of time looking through the comments. They spend more time looking.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen this.
So if there's a video.
Yep.
And if it is either provoking or funny or just something that's going to really grab our attention and we want to know what other people are saying about it, we will spend maybe a few 5 to 10 minutes just going through the comments on one video. And that was one thing when you were talking about the video aspect, that people want to be entertained because our attention spans are very, very short. So
I think we mentioned goldfish.
Yeah, we have the attention span of goldfish. So when we are looking at content, it doesn't always have to be video, because a lot of content, especially on TikTok, they have the option of video, and then they also have the option of pictures, and the pictures you swipe through and there's music or something in the background of it. And sometimes, usually what I've seen is either articles that are posted that people have posted, or their text messages, something like that, and that will get people's attention. So it's all in what you can do within the first maybe 2 seconds.
just
So
learned a lot there, didn't you?
yeah, I did learn a lot. But think about the YouTube one.
Yes.
I watched the show yesterday. I think there's 50 people streaming the video, right? It felt like 150 on the comment line.
Well, you have the
I mean,
same
it was
5 people.
yeah, it was
commenting.
comments. I mean, they were continuous.
Today you had a lot.
So, I mean, why is that important? I did not want to do us as a radio or podcast on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. It's just a lot harder technologically.
So I think what the conversation was yesterday is that we're looking for entertainment, number one. As they're scrolling through, and they're giving a few seconds for each.
Yes.
I think they mentioned up to 15 seconds, but we all know it's probably closer to 2 or 3 at the most, right? But people will go into the comments, and I see my daughter do this, right? She's 18. She will click on something, and then I see her scrolling the comments because there's so many comments, and then she closes it, goes to the next one, hits the comments again, and so what I'm seeing in this is, one, you got to get them to stop, right? So you got to get that hook, that what is it that they're trying to find from this video or this post, and then why are people engaging with it? And you guys know all about this when it comes to radio. You get two sides going at each other. I mean, that's essentially what's happening in the comments. Or, it doesn't have to be on a negative side. It could be on a positive side, right? Where people are saying good things about the post and all that. But I think one of the real lessons yesterday was the fact that you got to get them to stop. So there's got to be a really good hook. And then second, you've got to start a conversation in that post somehow, some way. So a lot of people are talking about now, oh, well, comment below and we'll send you this and all this, right? There's those strategies. But and we've talked about this in the past, a post, take a side, who's going to win the Super Bowl, those types of things. But, you've got to get people commenting on it, because the younger generation wants to continue the dialogue in the comments of a post. So if you're not getting that engagement, you're not connecting with this generation. And this generation is the new, right, it is the new people that you've got to relate to. I mean, the boomers are aging out. I mean, Gen Z or Gen X, like me. I mean, there's just not a lot of us, and we're all cantankerous anyway. So, you probably don't want us commenting on things, but that's what I mean. Like, you've got to see how the different generations respond to different things. So if you're trying for a younger audience, it's all about the engagement and getting that conversation flowing in those comments.
So you mentioned authenticity a couple times. I mean, is that more important than like some shocking first 2 seconds?
That conversation went a different way than I thought it was going to go. But we were asking about, if you see an ad and you don't know who they are you clicking on it? And I'm like, no, I'm not clicking on that. But if I see somebody that I know, that I've seen ads before, I've bought from in the past or whatever, I'll click on that. So then we went down this whole rabbit hole of, well, what is trust and what is authenticity and what are the types of brands that you would actually click on?
One person had a very interesting way that they go about finding trust within brands to make sure they're legit. And I was like, I've never heard anything like that. That's really cool.
So go ahead and share it.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that there is some form of either website or platform that they are able to plug in whoever is selling this product, and it tells them how long they've been selling this product, what are their reviews, do they have a good I don't know if it was SEO or it was something along those lines where it tells you if this person is legit or not. And then they'll look at the reviews of everybody, they'll look at the reviews of the products and the quality of product, and they have basically all this information available to make sure that this product is trustworthy enough. Because there are, and especially TikTok and Instagram are very good at this, and scammers have found new ways, of course, that they will sell products and they're complete and total scams. They look legit, everything is authentic from just the blind eye, and that's how they get you, and you never get your product ever. They just take your money.
Yeah, or you had the the Shopify drop shippers that
Yep.
happened years ago. I mean, there's probably still some out there that are doing it, but you'd order a product from a website that looked legit. They had trust badges and everything else that they would throw on there, and you wouldn't get your product until like
Nope.
28 to 45 days later, and people were calling to cancel the orders, and it was building this huge
It was a whole thing.
yeah. So we've reshaped an entire generation based on some of the things that we've been doing through social media and through e-commerce with drop shipping and all that. So they don't trust anything anymore when they see it unless they have some kind of experience. And that was the conversation. We had a hockey player that was talking about how there's this website that he heard about, but he didn't know anything about it. But some of his other teammates had purchased hockey sticks from it. So he waited to see how their experiences were, and that slowly built the trust. So I think the lesson from that is you can't just form some no-name brand and start to try and sell people, because especially in this generation, they're very distrustful. If they can't look you up, there's no information on you, there's no history.
Yeah, if we don't do our proper background checks, we're not really trusting you.
Right. Which is funny in today's society because so many people believe what they hear, read, and see.
So you're talking about just like fraud.
Yes. Essentially. Well, I wouldn't say it's fraud, but it's people that, and I'm going to go back to the drop shipping, which was a huge thing a while
What is
back.
drop
shipping? Is basically you create an e-commerce website on Shopify, and then you would tie it back to one of the Chinese websites that would ship product, right? So you'd buy let's call it a T-shirt for $1, and you'd sell it for $15, and then you take the 15 and it would automatically pay $1 for the drop shipper, but it would take 28 to 45 days to come from China, and people were getting upset because they were ordering something for Christmas or an event that was coming up, and they weren't getting this stuff, and they're thinking all of their money has been scammed and taken, right? So it's a legit business, but they weren't being transparent about it. They weren't saying, well, it's going to take up to 45 days for your shipment to get there, and most people wouldn't order at that point, right? So there's all of these things that have happened in the last 10 years that have helped shape this generation, because now they're, anywhere from 14 to 29 years old, and they've grown up with this. So now they're distrusting. They want brands that they're familiar with, but you have to build that trust before they're willing to literally buy something from you online.
All right, so we are talking about the small and medium-sized businesses here, mostly in Indiana, but people listen elsewhere. It almost, if I'm, what kind of business could even attract her?
Mm-hmm. Well, what are some of the products that you buy?
Anything local?
It depends. So if we're talking like local products, probably like clothing from different shops, and especially within kind of more like Whiting Munster area, they have like small mom and pop shops. Food is definitely one of the big ones that you're gonna see more of our generation buying, opposed to bigger companies. But I think when it comes into like local, not so much around here, but like through websites where it's like people's personal businesses. Etsy's like one of a real big one for that, even though Etsy has marketed itself as a national thing. But people can go and they sell their products, and it, as you said, it's like one of those things. It's a trust thing. So recently, I did actually buy something from Etsy that is from somebody's like local business, and it was stuff for graduation, and a lot of things too. And if you go to in Chicago, and depending on where you're at, what neighborhood you're in Chicago, they have people that are there like selling their products on the street, and they'll sell their products first there before they can get enough money to have it to where they have their own little business, and like they start climbing that little ladder in a sense.
So we just had sitting in this chair Brent Brazier from
Yes.
Doc's Barbecue. And he has the Super Bowl coming up, and they do a ton of carry out before the Super Bowl. I mean, like massive amounts. They actually close when the Super Bowl starts.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, wasn't that weird?
Yeah.
So how could he get Gen Z to be interested in his product versus Gen Z will go on there and just buy from Wingstop and get it Ubered over, or they'll go pick it up. But either way, they'll just do that. How is he going to be able to get into Gen Z?
Yeah, he just needs to put himself in the same circles, right? The same conversations. He sells barbecue, but you're talking about the Super Bowl, and people get really passionate about sports, as you know. And
I'm there for the commercials.
you're there for the commercials. Some people are there for the halftime show. Some people are there for the game. Some people are there because they want,
Food.
the food, right? Like there's all these different reasons for it. But if he's focusing around the Super Bowl itself, it comes down to kind of multiple things. So, is he posting things about his food? Of course. Is he posting things about the game? I don't know. Is he posting things about the halftime show? Is he posting things about the who's going to be the MVP, right? Like, could you relate any of this stuff? But when it comes to the younger generation, I don't think they're focused as much on the business side of the Super Bowl as much as the entertainment side of it, right? So something as simple as the halftime show gets people riled up, right? Something as simple as the Patriots back in the Super Bowl,
That it's not
either
two
people love it
teams.
or they hate it, right? The fact that they're back again, it's just not fair. Bears fans, it's just not fair. Why do we have to do this again? But what I'm saying is, too many people will focus strictly on their product, right? Let me put another picture of a barbecue sandwich. Let me put another picture of nachos with, barbecue meat on it. Let me put another picture. You don't care about that, right? Like you could care less about to see, yeah, it looks good. I'm scrolling. I'm not commenting on it.
Yeah.
But if it's, this is my favorite food, what's your favorite food for the Super Bowl, or what's the best thing that you've ever had, it gets people talking.
You get ideas.
Yep. Do you have a
go
recipe
from
that you'd
there.
love to share? Put the link in below so we can get everyone to kind of celebrate food during the Super Bowl. I mean, those are things that get people talking more. So, again, we're talking about one single generation at this point, but I think there are some generalities that we can go out there and push out, such as food or music or whatever, even advertising. I mean, a lot of people watch the Super Bowl for the ads. Me personally, I get bored with the ads anymore. I don't think they're as creative as they used to be.
It's been like the past 2 to 3 years that they haven't been like, whoa, what? Like, this is a great ad. And that's also because these companies are going to release the ads before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that takes away a little bit of that aspect that, at least for my generation, if we were so like disinterested in the game whatsoever, the commercials are what we were watching because they were new, they were different, and they weren't as short as we were used to seeing. Because some of these commercials, like, of course, people pay millions and millions upon dollars just to get their advertisements up there. So that's losing that spark a little bit. And of course, everybody's gonna be mad about the halftime performance, but I think without any of like the political aspects of this current performer that's for the Super Bowl, I keep seeing, and it's so funny to me that they're just like, nobody even knows who Bad Bunny is, whereas for Gen Z, everybody knows exactly who this person is. So
By the way, I was dancing with my granddaughter to Bad Bunny yesterday.
what song?
That was awful.
Can we get that on video?
Actually, the
know.
music. I mean, the music was very, very.
Like catchy.
It was very. It was in Spanish, and it was very deeply cultural. I was surprised that they're. That it was. I thought it was kind of hip hop-ish.
Yeah.
No, man, it's almost like traditional.
Yeah. And that's one aspect that is so appealing to that artist. And I like to think of it that people are like, nobody knows who Bad Bunny is with like this one. But then years ago, I laughed because I know who the person was when Prince was doing the Super Bowl. my generation's like, who is that? I'm like, how do you guys not know who this is?
That was a good one, man.
I loved it. It was
Yeah, it was
amazing.
good.
But I think it's also just because what this generation, what you're going to be exposed to, because it's not just like, okay, everybody's exposed to the same kind of content at the same time. That's with social media and these advertisements and everything coming up. It is so versatile, and it's the algorithms that you get. My algorithm is not going to be the same as any of your guys. It's not going to be the same as any of the people that are in sports or any of the producers that are here. It's not going to be the same. Like, you are not going to get even close. Maybe you'll get a video or two that everybody's seen out of the 2,000 videos you see every day.
So, sum this up.
Yeah, I think you just got to realize that you have to listen to customers, right? You have to ask many, many questions. You have to just, you've been given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? I think I've said that 3 times in the last 24 hours, but listen, right? You just said it, that your algorithm, that the content that you are constantly watching, that you're listening to, is different than what Jim's listening to and I'm looking at, right? Like, it's all different. So you really have to just be quiet and listen every once in a while, and you're going to learn one tip or trick along the way.
Your summary?
My summary of it would just basically be how I said, like, you have to listen to your customer, but you have to get them engaged. If not as much before, you have to do it way more now, and it's a lot more difficult.
So I guess kind of a takeaway for the small and medium-sized business to reach your generation. Certainly, it has to be on one of those 3 platforms mainly: YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And that you need to do something that will get them involved in whatever content you're going to put up there.
Stop the scroll and make them comment.
Let's end it right there. This is episode 117, Marketing Strategies That Actually Work on Gen Z. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and the last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Episode 118, Rule of Reciprocity. Now, this is probably something you don't hear a lot about and you wouldn't think about, but if you really get into it, it actually works. How generosity boosts marketing strategies and customer acquisition. The rule of reciprocity, remember this, small and medium-sized business people, is one of the most powerful marketing tactics that drive customer acquisition and growth. Yet many small businesses misunderstand the impact. We dive into effective marketing strategies that use generosity as a tool to build trust and loyalty. Now remember, we're talking small businesses. Trust and loyalty always kind of sticks up there. Discover how giving first influences customer behavior and strengthens your marketing efforts. This episode isn't about gimmicks, but about tapping into human nature to create meaningful connections that inspire actions. If you're looking to enhance your local advertising strategies to attract and retain customers, this discussion on the rule of reciprocity will transform how you approach your marketing for small business success. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And Adriana Alvarez, your mic is always open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anymore, because I don't know how it happens, but we all take orders from a 22-year-old, and I'm not sure when that happened, but I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah, mine are 18 and 19.
All right. Well, around here, it's just different.
You're moving up in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a big customer around here, and 3 or 4 years ago, we did not deliver. We weren't the organization of sports streaming that we are now, but we sold it as we were, and we could not deliver. And it was kind of a bad, I see the guy publicly out, hey, yeah, we could do something, this and that. And I knew that we had to do something to repair that relationship. So I listened to this podcast, or actually I hosted it, when you talked about sometimes in different situations, you've got to give stuff away free. Mm-hmm. So I went yesterday. I'm following two things that you taught us here. You're like, it's got to be regular. It's got to be a routine that you are marketing regular, whether it's 1 hour, whether it's 2 hours. I'm trying to do 2 hours a day. And in the first 2 hours, I can't believe just doing marketing at home with nobody around has made a big difference in one day. but I sent them something and called, and I say, here's what we want to do. We want to give you free advertising for this amount of time. And, there's probably a value of about this, and there's no pressure at the end of it. We're not like looking to leverage it to I heard back in about 2 minutes. Yeah, we're in. Thank you. We've always wanted to come back. We just, I have the Zoom call here in about 20 minutes. So that is something I took out of this podcast. One, you got to do your routine. Every day you got to work on your marketing just a little bit. And then two, every once in a while you got to give something away for free. Now, this was a relationship repair kind of thing, but I'm starting to see other areas where we should be giving away some free advertising to people. My guys don't want to do it, but I mean, if you're talking a 3 to 5 year time frame versus 3 month time frame, which is what we have, a 3 to 5 year time frame, what do you give away 3 months of free advertising and they sign up for 3 years?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had these conversations. I think I've told you about the boss that I had years ago that he was trying to get one of the airlines into the magazine that I worked for, and he took him golfing. He said, let's go golfing. And, this CMO or whatever it was, the chief marketing officer of this airline was basically like, I'm not buying, happy to go golfing, but, we're not buying. So he sat down the hole one, and my boss was a really good golfer. He said, you beat me 18 holes fair and square. I'll give you a year advertising for free, back cover. And they shook on it in hole one. And I know my boss, he didn't throw it because that's just how he is in golfing. And I think he ended up losing by a couple strokes. And this CMO was like, all right, pay up. And he goes, all right, no problem. And he goes, seriously, you're going to pay up? And I mean, it was, hundreds of thousands of dollars that he was giving away for free. And he said, yeah, I made the bet. This is what we're going to do. And we got them in. We put them on the back cover. And they continue to advertise with us for 6 years after that.
So the time frame.
Yeah.
And let's bring that up for the small and medium-sized business. And I think, Adriana, you're understanding that here. We're a 102-year-old radio station. It kind of applies to our new internet. We take our time, and it's about building a relationship. But if you're in a local market, you're in Peru, Indiana, and you want to build a relationship with B2B or whatever, you have to be able to stretch the timeline. So in this situation, I don't have any expectations, but I mean, honestly,
you're making a wrong or right.
I'm making a wrong or right, and I mean, I don't know if we've ever done that where we did not live up to it, and it was at a bad time. We were too busy. We took too much advertising, and we were growing at the same time, and it was a bad combo, and I didn't do it, and I know that. So that was the repair. Now, there are a lot of other situations where you have to look at what you're going to give away. Look at this one. Let's go straight to free chips and salsa. Do you expect that when you go in?
As for certain places, yeah, usually they'll either they'll give you something on the table. And I've noticed some restaurants around here, they're very different. It's either the chips and salsa, the bread. I know some places they do popcorn, and I've never seen that one. And that is like, oh, okay.
Chips and salsa is changing.
Oh, no, it is.
People are charging, and I've gone to a same place for like 30 years, and I went in the other day and got chips and salsa, and they put it on the table, and I saw my bill at the end of it was like $4 higher than it normally was.
And they keep charging you each time that they bring you more.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, funny enough, we don't necessarily go to restaurants and sit. We usually get a lot of takeout, and, from a Mexican restaurant. And the other day, my daughter was away at something, and we just didn't want to cook. And my wife goes, well, let's get some tacos from somewhere. I said, okay, where do you want to go? And she goes, I want chips and salsa, so order from this company. And I started laughing because she knows there are 3 different restaurants that we order from, and there's only one that throws in free chips and salsa with the to-go. The other 2 don't. So the funny part about it is they're about double the price than the other 2. But because in her mind we got free chips and salsa, even though we paid twice the amount for the tacos that we got. It's
So,
we're
that's a
probably
good point.
paying for the chips and salsa, but she sees it as free chips and salsa because we weren't charged for it, but we're paying more per taco. So yeah,
So the guy who owns this should talk to you, because I looked at the menu too, and I go, they really haven't done their prices. So to cover higher costs, they are now charging for things that other people expected. And I think I've been there a couple times. I think it's the lower head counts coming in.
Yeah.
And just on charging for chips and salsa.
Yeah. Which, again, chips and salsas shouldn't cost you that much. But
Who has the best chips and salsa in the region?
Oh, see, I have to say it's a place in the harbor. Oh my goodness.
La Michoacan?
No, it's not La Michoacan. It's like right there in the harbor where like all the kind of shops are, and the barber shop that's over there. I don't remember the name of
Okay.
it.
So my favorite is El Taco Real. And it's just that they make it, and then they give you like a tomato sauce, simple salsa, and that's really good. Some of these other Mexican restaurants, they put the quesadilla in with the salsa, so it's kind of like this
mix,
and I'm not a big fan of that. But anyways,
you
all
like
right.
your tomato soup with your chips.
All right, what
Which
else?
is good.
Let's talk about other freebies.
So here, I want to talk about this one. So I was doing some research, and I found this. I was on Reddit, and I was going through a bunch of different comments. And if you haven't gone to Reddit to look for different ideas for marketing, it is a gold mine for just different crazy things.
Can I say a Reddit one after his story? I mean, you're the arbiter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So there was a post on there, and it was a toy store. And what he does is he gives out stickers to the kids, but he gives them a pouch of treasure, right? So he'll give them some kind of pouch, and he puts a coin in there. And every time they come back, they get another coin.
Does it say anything like the coin you just gave me?
Yeah, no, it doesn't say that. But they get these coins, and after so many coins, they can come back and trade those coins in for a free gift from the toy store, right? So the kids are wanting to continually come back and fill their treasure, because every time they walk in, they get another coin to put in their treasure chest. And I thought it's just such a cool idea, especially for a toy store. And I'm just like, I want to steal it and put it into play somewhere. But we did a presentation to a jeweler years ago, and one of the tactics that we threw out there was we were going to walk around and we had this treasure chest that you could buy, and you would put 5 different items in there, and you would get, I think it was like 1,000 skeleton keys. And we were going to literally go out and hand them out to just random businesses and random people in the area. And attached to the key was the jewelry store. And it said, come in for your chance to get part of the treasure, right? And there were 5 keys that would open up the treasure chest. So if you go in there, you put the key in, doesn't open, you didn't win. But they would have $1,000 necklace, or they'd have $1,000 earrings, or whatever it was. So the idea was to drive traffic in the door. You're giving away a free key, which is nothing, but there's the opportunity to actually win some significant prizes. And it was funny, like, I was all in for this. I'm like, let's do this. This is going to be great. You're going to get so much traffic. And they're just like, eh. And I went, oh. So anyone that's out there listening, trust me, go do this. It would be such a huge, huge promotion for you.
So, Reddit. You brought
Yep.
up Reddit. I'm all of a sudden a big Reddit person, but mostly it's coming in my emails. But I've gone on the site too, and they had a guy telling his story about how he had built up roughly 300,000 followers on Facebook, and Facebook just canceled them without saying anything about why or what it was. Just done. And took it a whole account away. Does that happen ever?
Oh, it happens all the time. Yeah, that's why I always say, that's why I tell everyone, you can build your followers online, but make sure that you're pulling them off in some capacity, which is why we talk about email so much. So figure out a way to get.
But why would they do that?
That's a good question. You'll have to ask Zuck.
It was just the guy's podcast, and then he put up some merch, and he just had a little brand,
They quote unquote violated something is what they'll tell you.
But can they could
you
do it without telling you?
They could do that in a heartbeat. It can disappear tomorrow.
So, all right, what about
Not to scare you, but
Well, I'm not really. That's one of the reasons we got off of Facebook and built our own platform. Yeah. It took a long time, but I'm worried about a couple other guys I know that's their whole business. But anyways,
Well, I mean that can also happen with YouTube too.
Really?
oh yeah.
Well, also it's all the copyright music that's played on YouTube while we go live. They can terminate us at any point in time if they want to.
So we're getting better at not playing the copyright.
No, you're not getting better at playing the copyright. You do it in the morning when you hit live and you still have copyright music playing.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
If we get pulled down, we'll know why.
Yeah.
Hey,
So how are you going to feel about it when you get pulled? No, just kidding.
Oh, he's gonna get all the people texting him nonstop.
well, I didn't want to do YouTube. I just wanted to move here and just go back to radio, and it's a
whole thing.
It's a whole thing,
Well,
but it's a nice.
You talk
bit.
about copywriting. We talked about the students that launched their own podcast network. The first one that we launched had copyrighted images on the cover art, and I said you can't do that, right? Like we had to change. So it's learning lessons again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh,
you
they do some intro music, and they use a copyrighted.
Yeah, I mean, there's
music.
all kinds of things that can happen.
What about a birthday thing? Some sort of free birthday thing.
Right. I mean, we were talking about restaurants earlier, and you get a free dessert or.
I got like a whole list of stuff where
Right.
you get free stuff. It's
Right.
amazing.
So let's
For
go
your
to
birthday?
Let's go to Sephora. Right. My daughter has a birthday, and she goes, "Hey, by the way, why don't we sign you up for a Sephora free gift?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me?"
Yep.
She signs me up, and I get my free gift in Sephora. I go, "What am I free gifting?" And she goes, "Don't worry, I'll pick it out." So I walk up to the lady one day, and I go, "I'm here for my free gift," and she just starts laughing. She goes, "Here, you get to choose from this lip liner or," and I'm going, "Oh goodness." I'm just laughing about it, right? But even with me doing that, my daughter ended up buying something when we went there for that. So I got this free little gift that she took home with her, but she purchased something else because she felt obligated because you've been given something, right? So even to the point where I was walking out of one of my classes the other day, and there's a double door in the building that we're in. So the first door I walk through, and this student holds the door from me. I'm like, "Oh, thank you. I don't see that often anymore." But I went to the next door, and I opened that door, and I said, "Well, I don't want to be in debt to you, so let me hold this door for you." Right? So, but that's the human psychology, is that we feel in debt to someone that gives us something, right? So if
Is that the rule of reciprocity?
I mean, it is, but it's like, have you helped somebody move? Okay. When you move, guess what? You're getting a phone call, right? Like there's all of these things that we do in life, but from a marketing standpoint, if you give somebody something small, they're going to feel obligated to give it back in some way, shape, or form.
Is there some sort of benchmark amount, a percentage, like a 1% of what you think they're going to come back and spend? Are you willing to give away a 3%
Right.
on average? There's nothing like that?
Well, we used to give away little glass ornaments when people were shopping for Christmas and such, but those would cost us $1, and we saw our average ticket go up like $23. So I'm going to spend $1, give it away, and our average ticket's going to go up $23, and our average number of orders went up. Okay, all day long.
Wouldn't you have hated to work on the floor next to him? Now, you work on the floor at Cracker Barrel still.
Yes.
Can you imagine him knowing that if I give away a $1 thing, I'm going to get a $23 higher ticket? I mean, somebody counting all that stuff
God.
all the time. That's really what it comes down to. You just counted everything.
Pretty much.
So the average small business, you want to give something away, We want to just establish a relationship. You'd hope they would use you and your product or service, but it also establishes a relationship. You've got one down here on the thing about free inspections, plumber versus 79 cents or $79.
Yeah.
What are you talking? I have a feeling I know what it means, but how does that work?
So I have been charged for a company just to come out and look at something, right? Like, well, there's going to be a $79 charge just for sending somebody out. Then I was driving yesterday, and I was behind a plumber that on the back it says free inspections always or something like that. And it's in my mind now because there's a plumber that I have gone to over and over and over again for years. But now in my mind, I know they're charging me regardless if there's something that they can fix or not. But I saw it yesterday, free inspections, and I'm not going to name names, but I know who they are. And I know, okay, well, if I need to call somebody at this point, I can save the $79 that is, it's going to charge me to come and look at my problem. Now, they may take that same $79 and put it into the price, and I won't know any difference. But the fact that I'm willing to call them over the other one at this point, just because they're giving me something of value for quote unquote free, that's a difference, right? So that's a difference maker in the market.
That's similar to the free chips and salsa.
Yeah, it's all the same. I mean, really, it's all the same. Even when I sit down, somebody says, I want to talk to you about marketing consulting, helping our business, those types of things. What I tell everyone is, okay, when do you want to talk? Well, how much is it for you to come out and talk with me? There's no cost. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, we're going to sit down and we're going to figure out if we can work together. And then we'll talk about what you would be charged or whatever. But let's figure out if we can actually help each other first. So we sit down and we start talking about different things. What are you doing? What works? What doesn't? Here's some ideas. Literally, those conversations flip the script. So I'm not out there selling anything. I'm out there giving advice. And by the time I'm done with that, people are, I would say 90% of the conversations I have are like, okay, when can we get started? Because I'm giving the advice already. I'm telling them that here's where we can go. Here's what I'm seeing from you already. This is where you need to go. But I'm not going to say, like, I'm going to charge you $79 to sit down and have a conversation with you. I mean, that doesn't work, right? So you're building rapport. You're building a relationship between two people.
The rule of reciprocity, how generosity boosts marketing strategies and customer acquisition. If you remember anything out of this, it is he gave away a $1 ornament and increased his average ticket by $23.
Yeah.
If you remember another thing I gave away as a relationship repair, you got to give it away. I was in one of these buffet kind of restaurants that had just opened. And they had kind of screwed up one part of somebody's order. And they were adamant that they had to pay for, like, everything else. And then we'll fix it, but, you'll have to pay for that. Yep. And I was like, man, they're not going to last. And they didn't last 3 months.
They're never coming back.
Yeah, they didn't come back, but the restaurant had the wrong attitude about it. Anyways, this is episode 118. Matt, thank you.
Thank you.
Adriana, as always, thank you.
Thank you.
But mostly thank you for listening and watching. Tell a friend. If there's something you want us to talk about, or you want to get interviewed, or you want to be part of the podcast, you think you can add something, you get a hold of Matt at digitalhelium.com. Is that the right one?
That'll work.
All right. Until next time, see you later.